One more time, everybody. This next guy, he's a very funny guy. He has friends, and that's a lot more than some of you can say. So, give it up for Brian Scholten, everybody. Let's go.
Last Chance Saloon, what's up, everybody? I am Brian Scholten. If you ever had to announce someone's first name and last initial in public, it's very important that you enunciate each syllable slowly, especially if their name is Nick R. Can you imagine some poor Uber Eats driver going to do a pickup at the Applebee's in Hastings, Michigan? Hi, I'm here for Nick R. Ooh, ain't gonna find any of them around these parts. Do you guys remember when you could watch a movie and it would have zero focus on the character's sexuality? As if it didn't even matter. Like I was watching The Jungle Book, you know, the old one. And all the main characters are just male animals. Now I don't know if that part of the jungle just didn't have female identifying animals or what it was. But I think to me, they were just all gay. And we never realized that because we were kids. Because it didn't matter, it didn't further the plot in any type of way. And so that's why they didn't have to refer to their sexuality, because it was quite obvious. The whole movie was just about a big bear and a little boy in a loincloth running around having fun. And that's not straight. So people like to complain about inflation. A few years back, I got a pair of multicolored patent leather Air Jordans for $150, which doesn't seem too bad. But imagine if you'd have gone to the South in the year 1860. A pair of Jordans would have cost you $50,000. But they only came in black, and the only way you could get them is if you owned a plantation. I took the risk.
I know, I loved it.
I think the first documented case of catfishing was the video game Super Mario. And they got him like 7 times before he met an actual woman. Can you imagine showing up for a date and you gotta fight like a giant dinosaur thing or spitting fire, only to find out that your date is an anthropomorphic toadstool? I'm sorry, your princess is in another castle. Oh, you're sorry? You realize I've just been running around eating mushrooms this whole time, right? But by the 5th time this happens to him, the dinosaur, Bowser, he's throwing hammers in addition to spitting fireballs. And God bless Mario's dedication. Because if that had been me, I would have quit after like the 2nd time. It's like, you guys understand that I'm just a plumber, right? I'm not really equipped for all of this. And I realize that my standards are incredibly low, seeing as how I got down here by going down a sewer pipe. But I'm not going to have sex with 7 talking toadstools just for a shot at a lady named Princess Toadstool. Who am I kidding? I've done that multiple times. So you know how they say that black don't crack? That got me wondering, is that why they call white people crackers? But I was watching this documentary about the 1980s drug epidemic. The Contra affair, you may have heard of it, but the CIA was flooding inner city communities with drugs that they'd gotten from Nicaragua. And it turned out that it worked. Because contrary to popular belief, black does crack. They did a lot of it. That was actually the slogan for the CIA for a while. So I work with a bunch of teenagers, which is pretty annoying, you know? Because none of them are hot. In my mind, I like to think that they're all attractive, but I just can't see it because I'm not a creepy old man yet.
Yeah.
You got it? But this kid comes up to me the other day telling me about how he's worried to meet his girlfriend's parents because his girlfriend's dad is a white guy. And I get it. Being a white guy is one of the worst things you could be in this day and age. Like, I tried to escape it. And now I'm just a retired white rapper who owns 2 ukuleles. So that either makes me very white or, like, kind of Hawaiian. But I'm talking to this kid who's nervous to meet his girlfriend's dad, and I say to him, you know, that's why I like dating black girls. They very rarely talk about their dads. It's almost never. And even if you bring the guy up, she's like, oh, you talking about that bitch ass Nick R? At least I think that's what she said. She wasn't the best at enunciation. So once upon a time, I almost got fired for stealing bags of unshredded tickets from a dumpster at Chuck E. Cheese's. I'll take that. The reason the tickets weren't shredded were the only person that was authorized to do that was Scott, the lead game room guy. And about a week and a half prior to that, he cut one of his fingers off while shredding chickens. But he got a settlement, so he did all right. Last time I saw that guy, he was doing donuts in the parking lot in a convertible, screaming, "Fuck you, Chuck E. Cheese!" while doing his best impersonation of a middle finger. And now, speaking of kind of giving someone the middle finger at Chuck E. Cheese, there was another time when I was in the costume. And this 12-year-old girl rips my paw. So I take it back and put it back on, and it only had 4 fingers. So I had to give her one of these. And I know I shouldn't be saying I gave a 12-year-old girl one of these, because that could be misinterpreted. But I just went to the back hallway, and I take my mouse head off, and I sit down. A few minutes later, my assistant manager comes back. She goes, "Chucky!" Like, I don't think she knew my actual name. She just thought I was Chuck E. Cheese all the time. But she goes, "Chucky, some little girl just said you gave her the middle finger." And of course, I had to act surprised. So, yeah, I hold up the glove and I say, "I don't even have a middle finger. I'm like Scott, the game room guy." But then that got me thinking, you know? How many furries do you think used to work at Chuck E. Cheese's? And now, I never had tried to have sex while I was in costume. But I figure back then in 1999, that would have been my best chance at having sex while being dressed as a woodland creature. But no, like, being a furry is one of those sexual fetishes that the people involved with are oddly open about. And I'm friends with this guy on Facebook. The only things I know about him are he used to own a weed shop, he's divorced and has a child, and he likes to dress up like a fox for sexual encounters. And I feel like that's a lot to know about somebody that you don't really know. But I also see how it's important to be upfront about something like that. Can you imagine meeting someone at the bar, you make some kind of connection, and you go home with them? You know, after some conversation and a few more drinks, things start to get intimate, you know? And they say to you, "Wait, before we go any further, I need to dress up like an aardvark." Thank you very much, everybody. I'm Brian Scholten.
Hey, I'm Brian here one more time.